never got a response back.
Oh, okay, I didn't see it, okay, and I let David know.
And then David removed it. Good afternoon, my name is Kathleen Brown, Chair of the Virginia Beach School Board, and I call this informal administrative and workshop session to order at 4:30 p.m. on this 14th day of 2026. Madam Clerk, would you please announce the roll?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Present in the school board chamber are Chair Brown, Vice Chair Weems, Mr. Callen, Mr. Culpepper, Mr. Cummings, Ms. Felton, Dr. Green, and Ms. Rogers.
Thank you. We are now on to the school board administrative matters and reports. Do any board members have anything to report? Ms. Rogers.
I'd like to take the opportunity to acknowledge the following recognitions and celebrations within our community. In the month of April, the community will recognize the following: Arab American Heritage Month, which recognizes the history, culture, and achievements of Arab Americans in the United States. Initiated in 2017, it is marked by events, education programs, and proclamations nationwide. Autism Awareness Month, which it was designated to increase understanding, foster inclusion, and celebrate the strength of autistic individuals. It features Lighted Up Blue campaigns, educational initiatives, and fundraising for research and support services. Celebrating Diversity Month, which it began in 2004, honors the world's diverse cultures, backgrounds, and traditions. It encourages recognizes differences in race, gender, faith, and ability while fostering empathy and inclusion. Initiatives include workplace diversity training, supporting minority-owned businesses, and learning from diverse perspectives. Earth Month, which is a month-long global effort to raise awareness about environmental issues, promote stability, and take action to protect the planet. It features community cleanups, educational initiatives, and eco-friendly campaigns. National Child Abuse Prevention Month, which is dedicated to raising awareness, strengthening families, and preventing child maltreatment through community action. And Month of the Military Child, which highlights the crucial role of military youth play in our community. Established in 1986, the observance celebrates the resilience, service, and sacrifice of children in all military branches, including Purple Up Days. Virginia Beach will celebrate their Purple Up Day tomorrow, and I am celebrating early. On April 1st, the community began its celebration of Passover, which is a spring festival celebrating the exodus of the ancient Israelites from slavery in Egypt. On April 2nd, the community recognized World Autism Day, which recognizes the rights, dignity, and contributions of individuals with autism worldwide, focusing on fostering acceptance and supporting neuro-inclusive environments. On April 3rd, the community recognized Good Friday, which is a period of reflection and recognized through fasting, prayers, services, and processions. It often focuses on the hours between noon and 3 p.m. to designate the time of death of Jesus at Calvary. On April 5th, the community celebrated Easter, which celebrates the resurrection and symbolizes hope and victory. Traditions include egg decorating and hunts, religious services, family feasts, and the ever-popular Easter Bunny. And finally, on April 22nd, the community will celebrate Earth Day, which focuses on environmental protections through activities like planting trees, beach cleanups, educational workshops, and recycling initiatives to protect our planet.
Great, thank you. And I don't see any other board members with anything to report right now. So we are now on to our budget presentation, state budget, and we welcome Crystal Pate, Chief Financial Officer.
So good afternoon, Chairwoman Brown, Vice Chairwoman Weems, school board members, and Dr. Robertson. This presentation is intended to provide an update on the status of the state budget and outline potential uses for any additional state funding. This afternoon's agenda is outlined on the slide. We'll begin with a General Assembly update. Next, I will share administration's recommendations regarding the potential use of additional state funds. From there, we will review other considerations, discuss next steps, and conclude by opening the floor for questions. At this time, the state budget has not yet been finalized. While preliminary proposals include funding for K-12 priorities such as compensation, literacy initiatives, and support for at-risk students, final allocations remain uncertain pending action by the General Assembly. For now, we are planning based on estimates with the understanding that changes may occur once the budget is adopted. April 13th marked the deadline for the governor to act on legislation from the regular session. The General Assembly is scheduled to reconvene for a special session on April 23rd, where we remain optimistic that a budget will be adopted. And while many education policy bills were passed during the regular session, funding for these bills remains uncertain and is contingent upon the pending state budget. A key point of contention is the issue of tax credits for data centers. The Senate has proposed ending or accelerating the phase out of these tax exemptions to help fund budget priorities, including public education, potentially generating up to $1 billion in revenue. In contrast, the House supports honoring the original agreement and continuing the tax exemptions through the initial period. In the absence of a finalized state budget, the administration is presenting several recommendations for the board's consideration. PAYGO, continuation of services currently funded by the All-In Grant, which expires June 30th, 2026. These funds support the Virginia Literacy Act, tutoring initiatives, and efforts to address chronic absenteeism. Human resources priorities, including increasing employee professional development reimbursement, updating part-time pay rates, and aligning educational allowances with neighboring divisions. And additional contributions to the health fund balance to strengthen financial reserve. This slide outlines these priorities along with their proposed allocation of additional funds and their alignment with the CION. To provide additional context on the All-In Grant funding for fiscal year 2026, the budget for chronic absenteeism initiatives was approximately $700,000. For high-impact tutoring, it is approximately $5 million, and for the Virginia Literacy Act, the budget is approximately $1.2 million. This slide highlights human resources priorities in order of importance. Number 1 is to increase employee professional development reimbursement at a cost of $214,000. Number 2 is to update part-time employee rates at a cost of approximately $3.3 million. And number 3 is align educational allowances with neighboring divisions at a cost of approximately $1.9 million. And number 4 is to increase additional duty supplements at a cost of $300,000, of approximately $300,000. The top priority is increasing the annual professional development reimbursement from $1,000 to $2,000 per employee. This adjustment reflects rising higher education costs and supports licensure renewal, advanced certifications, and ongoing professional growth. It also serves as a valuable retention tool. Part-time employee pay rates have not been updated since the 2021-2022 school year. This recommendation proposes a 10% increase across all part-time categories to restore competitiveness. It also addresses substitute pay rates, which currently lag behind neighboring divisions. Updating these rates will improve the division's ability to fill staffing gaps and maintain classroom coverage. The third priority focuses on increasing educational allowances based on advancement degree attainment. Current educational allowances are below those offered by Norfolk and Chesapeake. Enhancing these initiatives supports recruitment and retention, particularly as 90.5% of recipients are teachers who hold advanced degrees. The final human resources priority is a proposed 10% increase in additional duty supplements. These supplements compensate for roles such as department chairs and non-athletic sponsors, including academic clubs, student activities, and academic competitions. Additional considerations for the board include the continued alignment of steps 1 through 14 on the unified pay scale, increasing teacher entry-level starting pay to remain competitive, as some neighboring divisions currently offer higher entry-level pay and may also dedicate additional state funding to their teacher pay scale. Monitoring potential shifts of grant-funded positions to the operating budget, as rising costs and relatively flat federal funding have reduced purchasing power, increasing reliance on the operating budget. As we approach the conclusion of the budget process, the following next steps are anticipated. Again, April 23rd, the General Assembly reconvenes for a special session, and then May 12th, the City Council is scheduled to approve the budget, which is inclusive of our budget. Depending on state budget developments, a future budget workshop may be necessary. Additionally, the board may need to take formal action to amend the budget based on new funding allocations. So thank you for your time this evening. This concludes the presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Ms. Rogers?
Hi. Yes. I have a quick question on other considerations, and maybe this is, I'm not sure who this is for, Dr. Robertson or for you, Ms. Pate. The increasing teacher entry-level starting pay, how will that affect our pay scales, like my concern is that we are going to then bring up in, entry-level teachers to or further than some of our step 2, step 3s.
Yeah, so if we increased entry-level pay, it would roll through the entire,
Okay, that's what I
Scale.
wanted to make sure, because this just says entry level, and I wanted to make sure we're not just increasing that, but we would roll it through.
yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
So I think this is kind of all depending on what happens with the state, but I do think, the employee professional development reimbursement looks very attainable. And I understand the list of priorities, but one of those is, the one in number 2 is significantly more cost, so, I would love to hear from HR, either now or at some point, whether or not, if funds were to only allow for 1 and 3, whether or not that would be something you would be open to, considering the answer for the community that's listening was yes. Okay, Vice Chair Weems?
Yes, thank you. On the, high impact tutoring, can you, or maybe it's somewhere over here, can you just let us know exactly what that is, who it's for, how it's done, just kind of.
We're really accelerating high impact tutoring coming in the next few weeks is where you're heading into the testing season. It's typically for our students that are struggling either a variety of core content areas in elementary school, particularly math and English or reading. You'll hear a little more tonight when I talk about the presentation on all student achievement data and how we're going to finish the year strong. We utilize a lot of that money for before and after school tutoring. We do have staff that can get paid for that tutoring as well if they do it after hours. It's designed for our students that need gaps or showing they need the greatest level of assistance. I hope that answers your question. I'll give you a little more details in terms of time, but
Yeah, do you know how many tutors that we have ballpark figure?
I don't have a ballpark. I will share with you, we do have an all-in Virginia update coming in, and I'll get that information prior to, but we're gonna give a deep dive into where we are with our tutoring money in the next, I think it's May 12th presentation to the board, but I'll get that information to you earlier than that, to your question. This is really the time we accelerated post-spring break, so that number would have looked a little bit different, maybe pre-spring break. We've really started looking at how we're allocating those funds as well, so I'll get you that information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I don't see any further questions at this time. Thank you. Vice Chair Weems, will you read us into closed session?
I move that the school board recess into closed session in accordance with the exceptions to open meetings law set forth in Code of Virginia 2.2-3711, Part A, paragraphs 3, 7, and 8, as amended to deliberate on the following matters. 3, discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or of the disposition of publicly held real property, where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body. 7, consultation with legal counsel and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation, where such consultation or briefing in open meetings would adversely affect the negotiating or litigating posture of the public body. For the purposes of this subdivision, probable litigation means litigation that has been specifically threatened or on which the public body or its legal counsel has a reasonable basis to believe will be commenced by or against a known party. Nothing in this subdivision should be construed to permit the closure of a meeting merely because an attorney representing the public body is in attendance or is consulted on a matter. 8, consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel. Nothing in this subdivision shall be construed to permit the closure of a meeting merely because an attorney representing the public body or is in attendance or is consulted on a matter, namely to discuss A, status of pending litigation or administrative cases, B, Jericho Road property term sheet discussion, C, consultation with legal counsel regarding probable litigation and pending litigation matters.
Okay, motion made by Vice Chair Weems, seconded by Ms. Dwyer. Any discussion? Okay, hang on. We can't vote right now. Right, that I call for the vote to go into closed session.
So, Madam Chair, we have 8 ayes. The motion did pass to go into closed session.
Thank you.
Whereas the school board of the city of Virginia Beach has convened a closed meeting on this day pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the school board of the city of Virginia Beach hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which the certification applies. And only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered.
Okay, is there a motion to certify closed session? Motion made by Mr. Cummings, seconded by Ms. Rogers. Any discussion? Seeing none, I call for the vote to certify closed session.
So, Madam Chair, we have 9 ayes. The motion did pass for certification of closed session.
Thank you. It is 5:31 p.m. and we are going to recess and return at 6 p.m.